Tonight, as the world quiets and the noise of the day slowly fades, God invites you to rest in His gentle presence. Not as someone who has everything together, not as someone who feels strong, but simply as you are. There is no need to pretend here. No need to smile when your heart feels tired or to explain what words cannot hold. The Lord who formed you knows the language of your sighs, the weight behind your silence, the stories you never speak aloud. In this still moment, He sees you completely, and He loves you deeply. Perhaps today you carried yourself well on the outside. You answered kindly, you showed up. You did what was expected. Yet inside, there was a quiet ache, a heaviness you kept hidden. God sees that place. Scripture tells us that man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. Tonight, you are safe to lay down every mask, every carefully held expression, every unspoken tear. You are not disappointing Him by being weary. You are not failing Him by feeling broken. You are simply human, and you are deeply known. As you rest, remember that God is near to the brokenhearted. He does not wait for you to become whole before drawing close. He steps gently into the middle of your mess, your questions, your exhaustion, and He stays. Even now, His Spirit is whispering peace over you like a soft blanket laid across a restless soul. You do not need to strive for sleep. You do not need to force calm. Let His presence do the work your strength cannot. Long ago, there was a night when a woman sat alone, her heart too heavy for words. Her lips moved, but no sound came out. Others misunderstood her silence, but God did not. He saw her anguish, her longing, her quiet faith. That woman was Hannah, and though her pain was hidden from most, it was fully visible to the Lord. In that sacred moment, God listened not to her voice, but to her heart. And tonight, He listens to yours in the very same way. Hannah had learned what it meant to pretend she was okay. She went about her days, carrying grief that no one could fix, smiling when she felt empty, enduring questions that pierced her soul. Yet when she came before God, she stopped pretending. She poured herself out honestly, holding nothing back. And in that honesty, something holy happened. She was seen, she was heard, she was comforted. As you lie here now, breathing slowly, gently, you are invited into that same honesty. You do not need polished prayers. You do not need the right words. A whispered thought, a silent tear, even a tired breath is enough. God understands the prayers you cannot finish. He understands the pain you cannot explain. He understands you. Let your shoulders soften. Let your jaw relax. Let the weight you've been carrying slip gently into His hands. He is strong enough to hold it. He always has been. And as sleep begins to draw near, know this truth. You are not alone in the dark. The one who never slumbers is watching over you, guarding your rest, covering your heart with peace that passes understanding. Tonight, you do not have to pretend. God sees you, and He stays. As the night deepens and your breathing grows slower, let the story continue to unfold softly in your heart. God often works most gently in the dark, when the world is no longer watching and the soul can finally speak honestly. There are moments when pretending feels easier than explaining, when saying "I'm fine" takes less energy than opening the hidden places inside. Yet the Lord never asks you to perform strength for Him. He waits patiently for truth, because truth is where healing begins. Hannah's story did not change in an instant. Her circumstances did not immediately look different, but something shifted within her the moment she released her burden to God. Scripture tells us that after she prayed, her face was no longer downcast. Not because everything was fixed, but because she had been seen, she had been heard. Peace came not from answers, but from presence. That is often how God works. Not by removing the night right away, but by sitting with us in it. Perhaps tonight you are longing for that same quiet reassurance. You may be asking God to change something, a situation, a relationship, a heaviness that follows you into sleep. But even if the answer feels delayed, know that your prayer has already reached His heart. God is never distant from honest sorrow. He gathers every tear, counts every restless thought, and holds them with care. Nothing you feel is too small or too much for Him. There was another night long ago when Jacob found himself alone, afraid, unsure of what the next day would bring. He lay down with nothing but a stone for a pillow and worry for a companion. Yet in his sleep, God met him. Heaven touched earth in a dream. And Jacob woke with the realization that God had been there all along. He said, "Surely the Lord is in this place, and I did not know it." Tonight, that same truth rests over you. Even if you don't feel it yet, God is here. As your body sinks deeper into rest, imagine God's presence like a steady light beside your bed, not harsh or overwhelming, but warm and constant. A light that does not demand anything from you, a light that simply stays. You do not have to guard your heart here. You do not have to keep watch. The Lord Himself is your protector. He watches through the night so you can finally let go. If your mind begins to wander, gently bring it back to this truth. You are known fully, tenderly, completely. God knows the version of you that smiles through pain, and He knows the version that collapses when no one else is looking. He loves them both. There is no disappointment in His gaze, only compassion, only mercy, only an invitation to rest. Let your breathing become a prayer without words. Inhale His peace, exhale your burden. Inhale His nearness, exhale your fear. You are not weak for needing rest. Even Jesus slept, trusting the Father to hold the world together while He closed His eyes. If the Son of God rested, you may rest too. Tonight, release the need to understand everything. Release the pressure to be okay. God does not ask you to have it all figured out before He cares for you. He meets you exactly where you are. Tired, hopeful, hurting, trusting. And as sleep gently takes you, may you feel wrapped in the quiet assurance that the one who sees your heart is keeping watch over your soul. As the quiet stretches on and the night wraps gently around you, let your heart keep listening. God often speaks in whispers, not because his voice is weak, but because his closeness is intimate. He is near enough that he does not need to shout, near enough to hear the smallest tremble in your thoughts, the unformed prayers that rise and fall like waves inside your chest. In this nearness, you are not required to explain yourself. You are allowed to simply be. There are many in Scripture who learned that God sees beyond appearances. Elijah once stood strong before crowds and kings, yet later collapsed beneath a tree, asking God to let him rest from life itself. He had done great things, faithful things, but exhaustion found him anyway. God did not scold him. God did not demand more effort. Instead, he let Elijah sleep. He fed him. He stayed with him until strength returned. This is the heart of your Father, attentive to the needs you might feel ashamed to admit. If tonight you feel emotionally tired, spiritually worn, or quietly lonely, know that this does not make you less faithful. It makes you human. God is not measuring your worth by how well you hide your pain. He measures it by love, and his love for you is already complete. You do not earn his care by being okay. You receive it because you are his. Let the memory of this truth settle deeper than your thoughts. God sees the effort it takes to get through your days. He sees the courage it takes to keep going when joy feels distant. He sees the tears you swallow and the prayers you postpone because you don't have the energy. None of it is invisible to him. Not one moment of your quiet endurance is wasted. As your body rests, your soul is being tended to. God works gently like a gardener at night. Unseen yet purposeful, he loosens what has grown too tight. He waters places that have gone dry. He prepares new life even when the surface looks unchanged. You may not feel the shift yet, but something holy is happening in the stillness. If fear tries to creep in, let it pass without resistance. You do not have to wrestle it away. Simply remind your heart, God is here. He has always been here. Before you named your pain, he knew it. Before you learned how to pretend, he saw your truth. Before this night began, he had already decided to stay with you through it. Allow your thoughts to slow, like leaves settling on water. There is nothing you need to solve right now. Tomorrow can wait. The past no longer demands explanation. This moment is enough. This breath is enough. You are safe to rest because the one who guards your life neither sleeps nor turns away. As sleep draws closer, imagine placing every concern into God's hands one by one. Not hurriedly, not forcefully, but with trust. He receives them with patience. He is strong where you feel weak, steady where you feel uncertain. And as you let go, may peace settle over you like a quiet promise. You are seen, you are loved, and you are held through the night. As the night carries on deeper and quieter now, let your heart rest in the steady rhythm of God's faithfulness. There is something sacred about these hours when the world sleeps and the soul is finally allowed to breathe. In this space, God is not rushed. He is not distracted. He is attentive in a way that feels almost tender, as though He is leaning close, making sure you know you are not forgotten. Many people in the Bible learned this truth in the middle of the night. David wrote some of his most honest prayers while surrounded by darkness when fear and sorrow pressed in from all sides. He did not hide his distress from God. He spoke of it openly, trusting that the Lord could handle the fullness of his heart. And again, David returned to this assurance. Even when I walk through the valley, you are with me. Not after the valley, not once I'm strong again, but right here in the shadows. If tonight feels like a valley for you, know that God's presence does not withdraw in difficult seasons. He walks more closely then. He adjusts His pace to match your tired steps. He does not rush you toward morning. He stays with you until rest comes naturally, until peace gently replaces tension, until your breathing evens out and your thoughts grow quiet. You may have learned to be strong for others. You may have learned to carry your emotions carefully, revealing only what feels safe, but God never asked you to carry yourself that way before Him. He welcomes the parts of you that feel unsure, the thoughts that feel messy, the feelings that don't yet have names. There is no need to filter yourself here. His love does not depend on how well you hold together. As you lie still, let your mind drift toward the simple truth that God delights in you. Not because of what you've done, not because of how faithful you've been, but because you are His. Just as a parent watches over a sleeping child, God watches over you now. Not evaluating, not correcting, simply loving, simply keeping watch. If sleep comes quickly, receive it as a gift. If it comes slowly, trust that even wakefulness is not wasted in God's hands. Every quiet moment is an opportunity for His peace to settle deeper, for His Spirit to soothe the places that ache. You do not need to force rest. You are already resting in His care. Let this final thought settle into your heart as you drift. You are seen tonight, fully, gently, without judgment, and the God who sees you is the same God who holds tomorrow. You are safe to let go, safe to stop pretending, safe to sleep. As the night stretches toward its deepest hours, there is a holy quiet settling around you, a stillness that feels almost like God's own breath, moving gently through the room. In this quiet, there is no pressure to do, no need to become, no expectation to explain yourself. There is only presence, God's presence. Steady, patient, unhurried. He is not counting the minutes you stay awake, not measuring the strength of your faith by how quickly you fall asleep. He is simply here, and that is enough. There are seasons when pretending becomes second nature. You learn how to say the right things, how to smile at the right moments, how to carry your pain in ways that don't trouble others. Over time, even you may forget how heavy that hidden weight has become. But God has never been confused by your outward calm. He has always known the truth of your inner world. He knows when your laughter costs you something. He knows when your silence is loud with emotion. And He loves you. not in spite of those things, but within them. Think of Jesus on the night before the cross. He gathered with his friends, shared a meal, spoke words of comfort. Yet inside, his soul was overwhelmed with sorrow. In the garden, he did not pretend to be okay. He told the Father the truth, that he was distressed, that he longed for another way. And because he was honest, he was strengthened. An angel came, not to remove the path ahead, but to help him endure it. This is the pattern of God's care. He meets honesty with presence, weakness with strength, vulnerability with grace. Tonight, you are allowed that same honesty. You do not have to tidy your feelings before offering them to God. You do not have to make sense of them. Just let them be known. God understands emotions that contradict each other, hopes that flicker, faith that feels quiet instead of bold. He understands because he made the human heart and he entered into human pain himself. As your body grows heavier against the bed, let your soul lean into this truth. God is not asking you to be okay tonight. He is asking you to rest. Rest from explaining, rest from pretending, rest from carrying everything alone. He is strong enough to hold what you release. He is gentle enough to hold it without hurting you. There are promises in Scripture that were spoken for nights like this. Promises whispered to the weary, the anxious, the unseen. I will never leave you nor forsake you. Come to me, all who are weary, and I will give you rest. These are not distant words. They are living invitations. Even now, God is fulfilling them simply by being near. If memories surface as you lie here, let them come without fear. God is not alarmed by your past. He was there too. If worries about tomorrow try to rise, place them gently back into his hands. Tomorrow belongs to him already. You do not have to solve it tonight. This moment is for rest, and rest is holy. Feel how your breathing naturally slows when you stop trying to control it. This is how God's peace works as well. It does not force itself. It arrives when striving ceases. With every quiet breath, your nervous system softens, your thoughts loosen their grip, and your heart remembers that it is safe. You are safe because God sees you. Not the version you show the world, but the version lying here now. The tired version, the hopeful version, the hurting version, the trusting version. He sees them all, and he calls you beloved. If sleep takes you soon, let it come like a gift, placed gently into your hands. If you remain awake, let wakefulness be wrapped in the same peace. Either way, you are held. Either way, God is working in ways you cannot see, preparing strength for tomorrow, healing for wounds you haven't named, and comfort for places that still ache. Let this night be a quiet surrender. Not dramatic, not desperate, just a soft letting go. God is with you. God sees you. God stays. As the night continues to hold you, gently and without demand, there is a deeper invitation unfolding. An invitation to trust that even now, while you rest, or hover between waking and sleep. God is tending to you in ways you may never fully see. His work is often quiet. It does not announce itself. It does not rush. It happens in the unseen places like roots growing strong beneath the soil, long before anything breaks the surface. There are moments when you may wonder if God truly understands how hard it has been to keep going. You may question whether your silent endurance matters, whether your unseen battles carry any weight in His eyes. But Scripture reminds us again and again that God is especially attentive to what is hidden. He sees the labor of the heart. He knows the cost of perseverance. He honors faith that whispers instead of shouts. Think of Mary, the mother of Jesus, who carried both wonder and sorrow in her heart. So many things she did not fully understand. So many moments she had to treasure quietly without explanation. She watched promises unfold slowly, painfully at times, beautifully at others. And Scripture says she pondered these things in her heart. God was not offended by her questions or overwhelmed by her emotions. He trusted her with mystery. Tonight, you are trusted too. Trusted to hold what you do not yet understand. Trusted to rest in the presence of a God who is still writing your story. If you have felt overlooked, know that heaven has never looked away. If you have felt forgotten, know that God's memory of you is intimate and constant. He knows your name. He knows your needs. He knows the exact moment your strength began to wear thin. And He is not waiting for you to reach a breaking point before He draws near. He is already here. Let your heart soften around this truth. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not failing because rest has become necessary. Even the earth rests. Even the tides withdraw before they return. Rest is not weakness, it is rhythm. And God Himself designed it. As your thoughts slow, let them rest on something simple and steady. God is good. Not just when circumstances feel kind, but even here, in this quiet hour, in this unfinished chapter of your life. His goodness does not depend on your clarity. It remains when answers are delayed. It remains when feelings are mixed. It remains when all you can do is breathe and trust that He is holding you together. If you feel emotion rising unexpectedly, allow it. Tears in the night are not a sign of collapse. They are often a release, a gentle opening where healing can begin. God is close to you in those moments, closer than words. He does not rush you through them. He does not turn away. He stays until the wave passes and calm returns. Let your body sink fully into the bed, supported, held. There is nothing more you need to prove. Nothing more you need to give tonight. God is not asking for effort. He is offering rest. Rest for your mind, rest for your soul, rest from pretending that you are stronger than you feel. As sleep approaches or as wakefulness lingers peacefully, let this assurance settle deep within you. You are deeply seen, endlessly loved, and completely safe in the hands of God. This night is covered This heart is known. This life is held. As the night gently deepens, there is a sacred slowness settling into everything around you, as though creation itself is whispering that it is safe to pause now, safe to stop holding your breath, safe to stop carrying what was never meant to be borne alone. God is still here, closer than your thoughts, nearer than the quiet rhythm of your breathing. He has not stepped away while you rested. He has not grown impatient with your weariness. He remains faithful and unchanging. There are times when the heart becomes so accustomed to endurance that it forgets what ease feels like. You may have learned to live with tension as though it were normal, to function while tired, to hope quietly while bracing for disappointment. Yet God never designed your soul to live in constant strain. He designed you for communion, for trust, for rest that restores rather than merely pauses. Tonight, He is gently reminding you of that design. Think of how often Jesus withdrew to quiet places. Even when crowds pressed in, even when needs were urgent, He chose stillness. He chose solitude. He chose moments of silence with the Father. Not because He was weak, but because He understood the necessity of rest. He knew that love flows most freely from a heart that is grounded, nourished, and at peace. In following Him, you are not called to endless output. You are called to relationship. And relationship always includes rest. If your thoughts drift back to moments when you felt you had to be strong, when vulnerability felt unsafe, let God meet you there now. He is not asking you to relive pain, only to know that none of it was unseen. Every time you held yourself together for the sake of others, every time you chose kindness while hurting, every time you kept going when stopping felt impossible, God noticed. Not with distant acknowledgement, but with deep compassion. Sometimes we imagine that being seen means being evaluated. But with God, being seen means being known with love. He does not observe you the way the world does. He does not scan for flaws or measure your usefulness. He looks at you the way a shepherd looks at a tired sheep, with concern, with tenderness, with a desire to lead you somewhere safe. As your body rests, your soul is being gently reminded that it does not need to be on guard tonight. There is nothing approaching that God cannot handle. There is no future moment that will catch Him unprepared. The same hands that formed the stars are holding your life together now, even in this quiet, ordinary moment. If your mind wanders toward questions that feel heavy, allow them to pass like clouds across the sky. You do not need to resolve them tonight. God is not withholding peace until you understand everything. Peace is not a reward for clarity. It is a gift of presence, and presence is already here. Let your breathing remain slow and unforced. Each breath is a reminder that life continues without your effort. Your heart beats without instruction. Your body knows how to rest when given permission. Trust that your soul knows how to receive God's care in the same way. You do not need to strive for it, you only need to allow it. There may be a part of you that fears what will happen if you stop pretending. A fear that if you let go, everything will fall apart. But God is not intimidated by your honesty. He is not threatened by your vulnerability. In fact, it is there that He does His most beautiful work. When the masks fall away, His grace has room to breathe. Tonight is not about fixing yourself. It is not about becoming more faithful, more grateful, more anything. It is about resting in the truth that you are already loved, already chosen, already held. God's love does not deepen when you are strong, nor does it diminish when you are tired. It remains constant, like the night sky overhead, vast, steady, unchanging. As sleep draws nearer, or as you linger peacefully in this stillness, let your heart rest in one final assurance. You do not need to pretend with God, not tonight, not ever. He sees you exactly as you are, and He calls you His own. And in that knowing, you are safe to rest, safe to breathe, safe to sleep, as the night continues its gentle watch over you. There is a softness in the air now, as if heaven itself has leaned a little closer. God has not grown distant as the hours pass. If anything, His nearness deepens in the quiet. When the world finally stops asking things of you, when no one is watching and nothing is required, that is often when God's presence feels the most tender. He knows these hours are sacred for the weary heart. There is a part of you that has been holding on for a long time, holding on to hope, to responsibility, to faith, even when it felt fragile. You may not have realized how tired that part has become. God sees it clearly. He sees how long you've been standing, how often you've told yourself to just get through one more day. And tonight, He is not asking you to hold on any longer. He is inviting you to be held. In Scripture, there is a promise that says, God gives His beloved sleep. Not because sleep is earned, but because love provides what the body and soul need. Sleep is not a sign of escape or avoidance. It is an act of trust. Every time you allow yourself to rest, you are quietly saying, God, I believe You will take care of what I cannot. That kind of trust is precious to Him. If you have felt pressure to always appear composed, always capable, let that pressure ease now. God is not impressed by your ability to endure silently. He is moved by your honesty. The moments when you feel closest to breaking are often the moments when He is closest to you. He draws near not to observe your struggle, but to support you through it. There may be things you wish you could change about your story, words you wish you had spoken, paths you wish you had taken, losses you wish had never happened. God is not asking you to make peace with everything tonight. He is only asking you to trust that He is able to bring redemption even where regret lingers. Nothing in your life is beyond His gentle, restoring touch. As you lie here, let your heart remember something simple and true. You are not alone in your thoughts. God is aware of every one of them, and none of them scare Him away. He is not disturbed by your doubts or overwhelmed by your emotions. He is patient. He listens without interrupting. He stays without conditions. Let your body grow heavier, supported fully by the bed beneath you. There is no need to brace yourself, no need to stay alert. The night is not something you must survive. It is something you are being carried through. God is watching over you with a care that does not fade or falter. If your breathing has become slower now, let it continue at its own pace. Each breath is a quiet reminder that life is being sustained for you. You do not have to manage it. You do not have to control it. The same God who sustains your breath is sustaining your soul. Perhaps tomorrow feels uncertain. Perhaps there are conversations ahead, decisions waiting, responsibilities that feel heavy. But tomorrow is not here yet. And when it arrives, God will be there too. He does not abandon you between days. His faithfulness does not reset at sunrise. It continues without interruption. Tonight, let yourself rest in the simplest truth of all. God sees you. He sees past the pretending, past the strength you show, past the words you choose carefully. He sees your heart as it truly is, and He loves you there, deeply, steadfastly, without hesitation. As sleep gently takes you, or as you linger peacefully in this quiet awareness, know that nothing is required of you now. You are safe. You are known. You are held. And the God who sees you tonight will still be with you when morning comes. As the night moves quietly toward its resting place, there is a sense of being carried now, as though you no longer need to hold yourself together. God is doing the holding. His presence has not wavered, not even for a moment. He has been attentive to every shift in your breathing, every softening thought, every place where tension has finally begun to loosen its grip. Nothing about this night is accidental. You are here, resting, because He has drawn you into this stillness with care. There are times when the soul grows tired, not from doing too much, but from feeling too much for too long. Carrying concern, compassion, responsibility, hope, disappointment, all at once. God understands this kind of fatigue. He understands the weight of caring deeply in a world that can be heavy. And He does not ask you to numb yourself or harden your heart. He asks you to come close, to rest, to let Him shoulder what you were never meant to carry alone. You may have wondered before, if God notices the small, quiet faith it takes to keep going when nothing feels dramatic or resolved. But He does. He notices the prayers you whisper only in your thoughts. He notices the moments when you choose trust, even while uncertainty lingers. He notices the way you keep showing up, even when joy feels muted and strength feels thin. These things matter deeply to Him. As you lie here, you are not being measured by productivity or progress. You are being loved. Loved in stillness. Loved in silence. Loved without condition. God is not waiting for you to become more rested before He delights in you. His delight is already present, resting over you like a quiet covering. If there is a part of you that feels unseen by others, misunderstood or overlooked, let that part breathe now. God's attention does not flicker. It does not divide. When He looks at you, He sees you fully. Not just the parts you allow others to see, but the hidden places too. The places where you doubt. The places where you hope quietly. The places where you ache and don't know how to explain why. Let your mind drift slowly, without effort. There is nothing it needs to accomplish. Thoughts may come and go, but you do not need to follow them. Let them pass gently like ripples fading on water. Beneath them there is a deeper calm forming. A calm that does not depend on answers. A calm rooted in presence. God's presence is steady. It does not rise and fall with your emotions. It does not withdraw when you feel uncertain. It remains, anchoring you in something stronger than feeling alone. Even now, His Spirit is at work, restoring what has been worn thin, strengthening what has been fragile, soothing what has been restless. If your body feels heavy now, that is okay. Let it sink fully into rest. If sleep has already begun to blur the edges of your awareness, let it come naturally. And if you remain awake, let wakefulness be peaceful, unburdened by expectation. Either way, you are resting in God. This night is not something you need to get through. It is something you are being cared for within. God is not watching from a distance. He is close, attentive, and gentle. He sees you exactly as you are tonight. And He calls you precious. Let that truth remain with you as everything else grows quiet. You are safe. You are known. You are deeply loved. And the God who sees you now will not stop seeing you when the morning comes. As the night continues to unfold, slowly and without urgency, there is a deepening sense of quiet now, a stillness that feels settled rather than empty. It is the kind of quiet where the heart no longer feels the need to explain itself. God is here in this quiet, not filling it with noise, but with presence. His presence does not demand attention. It simply surrounds you, steady and calm, like a gentle shelter built just for this moment. There are seasons when the soul becomes tired of carrying unanswered questions. Not loud questions, but the quiet ones that sit beneath the surface. Questions about timing, about purpose, about why certain things had to hurt the way they did. God is not offended by these questions. He has never required you to understand everything in order to trust Him. Often, trust grows not from answers, but from staying. From discovering that even without clarity, you are still held. Tonight, you are staying, you are here, and God is here with you. There is a tenderness in the way God watches over His children at night. Scripture speaks of Him as a shepherd who guards the flock while they rest, attentive to every sound, every movement. You do not have to stay alert. You do not have to listen for danger. The one who protects you is awake, fully aware, fully capable. You are safe to let your guard down. If you have spent much of your life being strong, reliable, composed, it may feel unfamiliar to rest this way. To simply exist without contributing, without fixing, without holding things together. But God is not uncomfortable with your stillness. He does not mistake rest for laziness or withdrawal. He knows that stillness is where healing often begins. There is a part of you that has been longing to be understood without having to explain, to be known without having to perform. God knows that part well. He formed it. He has listened to it long before you ever found words for it. Tonight, that part of you is not hidden. It is seen gently, without scrutiny, without judgment. As your breathing continues steady and soft, let your heart remember that God's love does not fluctuate with your awareness of it. Even if you feel nothing at all, His love remains constant. Even if your faith feels quiet or distant or tired, His faithfulness does not weaken. He is not sustained by your strength. You are sustained by His. There is nothing about you that surprises God. Not your exhaustion, not your fears, not the way you sometimes feel okay on the surface and fragile underneath. He has always known the full story. And still He chose you. Still He stays close. If your mind drifts toward moments when you felt you had to hide what you were going through, let God meet you there with compassion. He knows the cost of silence. He knows how heavy it can feel to carry pain alone, and He is not asking you to relive those moments. He is simply reminding you that you never had to be alone in them. Even if it felt that way at the time, let your body relax more deeply. Now, your muscles do not need to stay tense. Your jaw does not need to stay set. Your hands do not need to stay clenched. With each quiet breath, allow yourself to release what has been held too tightly. God is not asking for perfection in this letting go. Even a small release is enough. This night is a gift. Not because everything is resolved, but because you are being cared for within it. God is using this stillness to restore you in ways that go beyond sleep. He is reminding your soul of safety. He is whispering peace into places that have felt restless. He is doing what only He can do, loving you without condition, without hurry, without end. If sleep comes now, let it take you gently. And if it comes later, trust that this quiet waiting is not wasted. Every moment spent resting in God's presence is a moment of renewal. Even if you cannot feel it happening, you are not pretending here. You are not required to be okay. You are simply being held, and the God who sees you tonight will continue to see you tomorrow, and the day after, and all the days to come. As the night gently unfolds into deeper stillness, there is a sense now that everything is being slowed with intention. Nothing is rushing you. Nothing is pulling at your attention. God has allowed this quiet to surround you like a sanctuary, a place where your soul can finally loosen its grip and rest without fear. He is not watching the clock. He is watching over you. There are moments in life when strength looks like endurance, but there are other moments when strength looks like surrender. Tonight is not asking you to push through. It is inviting you to soften, to trust that you do not have to stay guarded to remain safe. God Himself is your refuge, and His presence is not something you have to earn or maintain. It simply is. You may have spent many nights pretending you were okay, even to yourself. Nights where you replayed conversations, worried about tomorrow, or carried sadness you didn't know how to name. God has been present through all of them. Even when you didn't speak to Him, even when you felt distant, even when you weren't sure what you believed in that moment, His faithfulness has never depended on your awareness of it. Scripture tells us that God knows our frame, that He remembers we are dust. He understands human limitation, emotional fatigue, mental overload. He does not look at your tiredness with disappointment. He looks at it with compassion. He knows how much effort it takes to keep showing up when your heart feels heavy. And tonight, He is giving you permission to stop striving. As you lie here, let yourself be small. Small in the best way. Small enough to be cared for, small enough to be protected, small enough to rest without responsibility. God is not asking you to carry the weight of the world. He is asking you to let Him carry you. There is something deeply healing about being seen without being required to respond. God sees you tonight and asks nothing in return. No explanation, no performance, no promises, just presence, just rest, just trust, even if that trust is quiet and fragile. If your thoughts begin to drift toward things you cannot change, gently bring them back to this moment. You are here, you are breathing, you are safe. This is enough for now. God is not demanding foresight or solutions. He is offering peace, one moment at a time. You may notice that your body feels warmer, heavier, more relaxed. Let that happen. This is your nervous system remembering safety. This is your soul responding to love. There is no need to analyze it. Simply receive it. God's love does not feel rushed because it is not fragile. It does not feel anxious because it is not threatened. It does not feel distant because it is not conditional. His love surrounds you now with the same strength and tenderness that has carried generations before you. You are part of a long story of people who have rested in Him through the night and found that He was faithful when morning came. If sleep is already beginning to claim you, let it. If you remain gently awake, let that be peaceful too. Either way, you are not missing anything. God is not working against you in the quiet. He is working for you, restoring you in ways that go deeper than awareness. Tonight, you are not pretending. You are not hiding. You are not alone. You are resting in the presence of a God who sees every layer of your heart and loves you there, completely, tenderly, forever. As the night holds steady around you, there is a feeling now of being wrapped in something gentle and sure, like a quiet assurance, settling over every restless place within you. God has not withdrawn as the hours pass. He does not tire of watching over you. His care does not lessen with time. In this stillness, He remains as attentive as ever, guarding your rest with a love that does not fade. You may notice that your thoughts are softer now, less urgent, as if they too are beginning to rest. This is not something you have forced. It is the natural response of a heart that is no longer bracing itself, but is teaching your soul even now that it does not need to stay tense to survive, that it can trust, that it can rest. There are parts of your story that have required quiet strength, seasons where you learned how to endure without applause, how to keep moving forward while carrying invisible weight. God has seen every one of those moments. He has seen the cost. He has seen the courage. And He has not forgotten any of it. Nothing you have endured has been meaningless in His sight. Tonight, He is not asking you to revisit those memories or analyze their purpose. He is simply reminding you that you are no longer alone with them. You never truly were. Even when you felt abandoned or unseen, His presence remained steady and compassionate, waiting for the moment when rest would finally feel safe again. There is something deeply comforting about knowing that God does not need you to be aware of Him in order for Him to be present. Even if your thoughts drift, even if sleep comes without ceremony, He stays. His love does not depend on your focus. His care does not waver with your attention. You are held whether you are conscious of it or not. If your body has begun to feel heavy, let it sink fully into that sensation. Heaviness here is not a burden. It is a sign of release. A sign that your body trusts the ground beneath it, the bed supporting it, the presence surrounding it. This trust is a gift, and God receives it with tenderness. You may have spent much of your life believing that rest must be earned, that peace comes only after everything is resolved. But God's peace does not wait for perfection. It arrives in the middle of unfinished stories, in the spaces where answers are still forming. Peace is not the absence of struggle. It is the presence of God within it. As you lie here, know that God is not disappointed by how long it takes you to feel calm. He is patient. He understands the way the human heart slowly unwinds. He does not rush the process. He stays with you through every breath, every small release, every moment of quiet trust. If there is still a part of you that feels guarded, unsure if it is safe to let go completely, that is okay. God is not asking for complete surrender all at once. Even a small opening is enough. Even a quiet willingness is enough. He will meet you there, gently, without pressure. This night is not a test. It is not something you must succeed at. It is simply a place of rest, a pause where your soul is being reminded of something it may have forgotten, that it is deeply loved, not for what it produces, not for how well it copes, but simply because it exists. Let your breathing remain slow and natural. There is nothing to adjust, nothing to manage. Each breath is being given to you, sustained by a God who knows exactly what you need. You are not carrying yourself through this night. You are being carried. And as the quiet deepens even further, let this truth remain with you like a soft echo. You do not have to pretend here. God sees you. He understands you. He delights in you. And He will remain with you through the night, into the morning, and through every moment that follows. As the night continues its slow, faithful keeping of you, there is a sense now of quiet trust, settling deeper than thought. Not a dramatic trust, not something you had to choose or declare, but a gentle trust that grows when nothing is demanded of you. God is allowing your soul to remember what it feels like to rest without fear, to exist without explaining itself, to be loved without conditions. You may not even realize how long you have been bracing yourself, how often you have stayed alert, ready for something to go wrong, ready to respond, ready to endure. God sees that readiness, and He understands why it formed. But tonight, He is whispering something different to your heart. You are allowed to rest now. You are allowed to lay down the watchfulness. He is keeping guard. There is a verse that says God surrounds His people behind and before, that He lays His hand upon them. This is not a distant image. It is a present reality. God is not only ahead of you in what is coming. He is not only behind you in what has already happened. He is here now, close enough to touch, close enough to steady you. Nothing about this moment is overlooked. If your thoughts are quieter now, let them be. If they still drift, let them drift gently. There is no wrong way to rest in God's presence. You do not need to hold on to awareness. You do not need to stay focused. Even if sleep comes and goes, even if your mind wanders and returns, God remains constant. You may feel a subtle sense of relief, as though something has been set down without ceremony. This is the work of grace. Grace does not announce itself. It simply lightens the load. It eases the weight you forgot you were carrying. It reminds you that you were never meant to hold everything alone. God is not using this night to correct you or prepare a lesson. He is using it to care for you, to restore your sense of safety, to remind your nervous system that it is not alone in the dark, to show your soul that it is still held, even when words fall away. If your breathing has become slow and deep, receive that as kindness. If your body feels warm and heavy, let that be comfort. If your heart feels tender, let that tenderness remain. None of it is fragile in God's hands. He knows exactly how to care for what is open and soft. You do not have to be vigilant for God to stay near. You do not have to be aware for Him to be present. His love does not fade when your consciousness does. It remains steady and watchful through every moment of sleep, through every quiet breath, through every hour of the night. And so, as this stillness deepens even further, let yourself rest completely. Not because everything is resolved, but because you are seen. Not because you are strong, but because you are loved. Not because you have pretended well enough, but because you no longer need to pretend at all. God sees you tonight. He knows you. He is with you, and He will not leave you. As the night moves gently onward, there is a deep, settled calm now, the kind that does not need to be named or explained. It is simply there, like a quiet understanding between your soul and God. In this calm, you are no longer trying to reach for peace. Peace has found you. It has settled softly, without force, without demand, resting where striving once lived. God has been patient with you tonight. He has not hurried your heart or rushed your rest. He understands how slowly trust sometimes returns, how carefully the soul must feel its way back to ease, and He has stayed through every moment of that process. His presence has not flickered or faded. It has remained steady, like a low, faithful light in the dark. You may feel now that even your thoughts have grown tired, that they no longer wish to wander far. This is not emptiness, it is relief. It is the mind recognizing that it does not need to stay alert to be safe. God is holding the awareness for you. He is carrying the watchfulness you no longer need to maintain. There are nights when rest feels like surrender, and surrender can feel frightening when you have learned to survive by staying strong. But this surrender is not loss. It is trust, finding a place to land. It is your soul recognizing that it has reached a refuge, a place where it does not have to defend itself or explain its pain. God Himself is that refuge. If there are still quiet emotions moving beneath the surface, let them be. God is not rushing them away. He is allowing them to soften, to settle, to be held without urgency. Nothing about you needs to be fixed tonight. Nothing needs to be resolved. You are not here to make progress. You are here to rest. Your worth is not measured by how quickly you fall asleep or how deeply you rest. Even this moment of gentle awareness is enough. God is pleased simply to be with you. His love is not transactional. It does not wait for outcomes. It delights in presence, in closeness, in shared stillness. As your breathing continues, quiet and natural, let it remind you of something simple and holy. You are alive because God sustains you. You are resting because God allows it. You are safe because God is near. These truths do not change with circumstances. They do not weaken in the night. They remain. You have not been pretending here. You have been honest without words. You have been present without effort. And God has met you exactly as you are. Tired, tender, real, loved. Let this night continue to hold you gently. Let sleep come when it comes. Let stillness remain if it stays. Either way, nothing is missing. God is with you. He sees you fully, quietly, lovingly, and He will remain. As the night carries on, wrapped in quiet and patience, there is a sense now that even the deepest parts of you are beginning to rest. Not because everything has been solved, but because nothing is being demanded. God has created a space where your soul can breathe without pressure, where your heart can exist without explanation. This is holy ground, even if it feels ordinary, especially because it feels ordinary. You may notice that your awareness comes and goes like gentle waves, one moment present, the next drifting. This is not something to resist. God is not asking you to stay awake for Him. He is not asking you to stay conscious of His nearness. He is near whether you notice or not. His care does not depend on your attention. His love does not lessen when sleep begins to take you. There are times when pretending to be okay becomes so familiar that you forget what it feels like to truly rest. You may have learned to function through exhaustion, to move forward while disconnected from your own needs. God understands this. He knows how survival can slowly replace peace. And tonight, He is gently restoring what has been missing. Not all at once, not dramatically, but faithfully. If you could see with spiritual eyes, you would see how carefully God is watching over you right now. not with urgency, not with concern, but with a quiet confidence, knowing that you are safe in His care. He is not worried about what tomorrow holds for you. He already knows how He will meet you there. He is not anxious about your strength. He already knows how He will supply what you lack. There is nothing you need to prepare for, nothing you need to brace yourself against. This night is not leading you into danger. It is leading you into rest. And rest is not passive in God's kingdom. Rest is where renewal begins. Rest is where burdens are lifted without effort. Rest is where the soul remembers who it belongs to. If you feel yourself slipping deeper into sleep, let it happen naturally. Do not pull yourself back. Do not try to hold on to awareness. God will still be here when your thoughts fade. He will still be here when dreams begin. He will still be here through every quiet breath of the night. And if you remain gently awake, hovering in this peaceful in-between, know that this too is a gift. God is not impatient with the process. He is not measuring progress. He is simply staying with you, moment by moment, breath by breath. There is a tenderness in the way God loves you that does not need to be felt to be real. Even if your emotions are quiet now, even if you feel neutral or numb, His love is unchanged. He is not waiting for a response. He is not asking you to feel grateful or aware. He is content to love you quietly, faithfully, without witness. You have been seen tonight in ways that go beyond words. Seen without correction, seen without expectation, seen with compassion so deep it does not need to speak. God knows exactly who you are beneath the pretending, beneath the strength, beneath the effort. And He loves that person fully. Let this be the last thing your heart holds. As rest deepens, you are not alone in the dark. You never have been. The God who sees you tonight is the same God who will walk with you tomorrow. And for now, for this moment, He invites you simply to rest. As the night lingers in its gentlest hours, there is a sense now that everything within you has slowed enough to be held without effort. You are not reaching anymore. You are not bracing. You are simply here, and God is here with you. This quiet companionship is not fragile. It does not depend on mood or awareness. It rests on something deeper, His unchanging faithfulness. There are times when the heart grows weary from trying to be understood, from choosing the right words, from explaining feelings that don't fit neatly into sentences. God never required that kind of explanation from you. He has always known. He knows the places where language fails, where emotion becomes too layered to name. And He meets you there with a knowing that feels like rest. If you could sense the way God looks at you tonight, you would feel no pressure at all, no expectation, no disappointment. Only a steady, patient love that does not hurry you towards sleep or demand that you feel a certain way. He is content to sit with you in this quiet, to guard the space while your soul settles naturally. You may feel now as though even your inner voice has softened, as though the need to think has begun to fade. This is not emptiness. It is safety. It is the mind recognizing that it can finally stand down, that it does not need to keep watch. God has taken that role upon himself, and he does it without strain. There is a kindness in the way God allows rest to come gradually. He does not pull you into sleep. He invites you, waits for your readiness, honors the pace your heart needs. And when sleep comes, it is not an escape. It is a gift, a gentle covering placed over you by a father who delights in caring for his child. If there are still small thoughts drifting through, let them pass without engagement. You do not need to answer them. You do not need to follow them. They will settle on their own as peace deepens. God is not in those thoughts demanding attention. He is beneath them, steady and sure, holding everything together. You are not missing anything by resting. You are not falling behind. You are not neglecting something important. This moment of rest is not a pause in your life. It is part of it. A necessary part. A sacred part. God weaves restoration into these quiet hours in ways that cannot happen when the soul is constantly alert. There is a gentle assurance now that tomorrow does not need to be feared, not because it will be easy, but because you will not face it alone. The same presence that surrounds you now will go with you into the next day. God does not remain behind in the night. He walks forward with you, carrying what you cannot yet see. If sleep has already begun to take you, let this be carried with you into it like a soft memory that you are seen fully and kindly. And if you are still awake, let that same truth settle deeper, unhurried, unquestioned. You do not need to pretend here. Not now, not ever. God sees you as you are, not as you think you should be. And he loves you with a love that stays, that watches, that holds through the night and beyond. As the night gently begins to thin, though still wrapped in quiet, there is a tender sense of completion settling over this moment. Not an ending, but a fullness. As if your soul has been carefully tucked in, every loose edge covered with care. God has remained with you through every breath, every pause, every drifting thought. He has not grown tired. He has not stepped away. His presence is as steady now as it was when the night first began. There is a peace that comes when the heart finally understands that it does not have to hold itself together, that it can rest without fear of falling apart. God has been teaching you that peace tonight, not through words or effort, but through nearness, through staying, through showing you moment by moment that you are safe, even when you stop pretending to be strong. You may feel now that even the deepest parts of you have softened, that the tension you once carried without noticing has loosened its grip. This is not something you achieved. It is something you allowed. God did the work. He always does. He works best when striving ends and trust quietly takes its place. If your awareness is fading, let it fade gently. You do not need to hold on to this moment. Nothing will be lost. God does not leave when sleep comes. He does not step back when consciousness dims. He stays. He watches. He keeps guard over every quiet hour that remains. And if you are still awake, resting peacefully in this in-between place, know that there is no rush. God is not hurrying you toward morning. He is content to let this calm linger as long as you need. His timing is patient. His care is precise. He knows exactly what your heart requires. You may not remember everything that has been spoken tonight. That is okay. Your soul has heard what it needed. The words have done their work simply by being present, by pointing you back to the truth that has always been there. You are known. You are loved. You are not alone. There is a gentle strength forming beneath this rest. Not the loud kind, not the kind that demands attention, but the quiet strength that comes from being held, from being seen without judgment, from being allowed to rest without explanation. This strength will go with you into tomorrow, even if you are not aware of it. God will draw from it when you need it. As the night continues, and as sleep deepens or awareness softens, let this final assurance remain like a quiet blessing over you. You never needed to pretend with God. He has always seen you clearly, and He has always loved you completely. Nothing about you is hidden from Him. Nothing about you is too much. Nothing about you needs to be fixed before you are worthy of rest. You are His. And tonight, that has been enough. Rest now gently. The God who sees you is keeping watch. As the night continues its gentle unfolding, there is a sense now that everything has settled into its rightful place. Nothing feels urgent. Nothing feels demanding. The quiet around you is no longer something you are waiting to escape. It has become a place of refuge, a soft covering where your heart can finally rest without effort. God is here in this quiet, just as He has been all along, steady and attentive, holding every moment with care. You may feel as though you are drifting more easily now, moving between awareness and rest without resistance. This is not something to control or question. It is the natural response of a soul that feels safe. God has been speaking peace not only to your thoughts, but to your body, to your breath, to the places where tension once lived unnoticed. He knows how deeply rest must reach to truly heal. There is a kindness in the way God allows the night to do its work slowly. He does not rush the process. He understands how long you have been carrying things quietly, how much strength it took just to keep going. And He knows that real rest does not come from force, but from trust that has been gently restored. Tonight has been about that restoration. If your mind briefly returns to worries or memories, let them pass like distant echoes. They no longer need your attention right now. God is not asking you to resolve anything in this moment. He is asking you to let go, even if only a little more than before. Each small release matters. Each softening moment is received with love. There is a deep truth being settled into your heart now. Whether you realize it or not, you do not need to be okay to be loved. You do not need to have answers to be held. You do not need to feel strong to be safe. God's care has never depended on your condition. It has always flowed from his nature, faithful, gentle, unchanging. As sleep draws closer or as rest deepens where you are, let yourself be carried by this truth. You are not falling into emptiness. You are resting in presence. The same God who watched over you when you were awake will continue to watch over you as you sleep. He does not look away when your eyes close. He remains, guarding the quiet hours with a love that does not waver. If you awaken later in the night, know that he will still be there. If you drift peacefully until morning, know that he will still be there. His presence is not bound to your awareness. It is constant. Like the steady rhythm of your breath, like the unseen strength holding the earth in place. There is nothing you need to remember from this night for it to matter. Your soul has already received what it needed. The gentleness, the reassurance, the sense of being seen without effort. These things settle deeper than memory. They become part of you, shaping the way you rest, the way you trust, the way you move forward when morning comes. And so as this quiet continues, let your heart remain at ease. You are not alone in the dark. You never have been. The God who sees you tonight sees you with love, not scrutiny, with compassion, not expectation, with patience that does not end. Rest now without pretending. Rest knowing you are fully known. Rest knowing you are deeply loved. God is here, and he will remain. As the night continues to cradle you in its quiet embrace, there is a sense now of deep familiarity with this peace, as if your soul recognizes it as something it has always known. Not something new, not something earned, but something remembered. God's presence feels less like an arrival and more like a return to safety, to belonging, to rest that does not ask anything from you. You may feel now that even the need to reflect has softened. Thoughts rise less frequently, and when they do, they carry less weight. This is the gentle work of trust settling in. Not trust that everything will be easy, but trust that you are not alone. Trust that you do not have to stay alert to survive. Trust that God is capable of holding what you no longer can. There is a sacred kindness in the way God remains with you without speaking. He does not fill the silence because the silence itself has become a place of healing. In this stillness, nothing is missing. Nothing is lacking. You are not waiting for something to happen. Something has already happened. Your heart has been allowed to rest. You may not realize how rare this kind of rest has been. How often you have slept while still carrying tension, still holding concerns, still pretending, even in the quiet. Tonight is different. Tonight you are not performing peace, you are receiving it. And God is pleased, not because you have done something right, but because you are finally letting yourself be cared for. If your breathing feels slower now, deeper, more natural, let it be. Each breath is a small surrender, a quiet agreement that you do not have to control everything to be safe. God is sustaining you moment by moment, breath by breath, without effort, without strain. There is no fear in God's presence. Even if fear once shaped your nights, even if darkness used to feel heavy, or uncertain, it does not have power here. God's nearness changes the nature of the dark. It becomes a place of rest instead of threat, a place of covering instead of isolation. If you feel yourself drifting in and out of sleep, that is perfectly okay. You are not losing awareness. You are gaining rest. God is not asking you to stay present for Him. He is staying present for you. His watchfulness does not depend on your wakefulness. He is faithful through every quiet hour. You may awaken later with a sense of calm you cannot explain, or you may sleep deeply and wake without remembering this moment at all. Either way, this time has mattered. Your soul has received what it needed. God's care has reached places deeper than memory. There is a gentle reassurance settling over you now, like a final blessing whispered without words. You are safe, you are held, you are not forgotten. The God who sees you tonight will continue to see you in every moment to come. Rest now, without effort. Rest without pretending. Rest knowing that you are fully known and fully loved. As the night settles into its deepest calm, there is a sense now that nothing is left unfinished in this moment. Not because every question has been answered, but because your heart has found a place to rest. God has been faithful through every quiet breath, every pause, every softening thought. He has stayed close without drawing attention to Himself, allowing peace to arrive gently, naturally, like sleep itself. You may feel now as though even the idea of pretending has fallen away. There is no role to play here, no strength to display, no explanation to offer. You are simply present, and God is simply with you. This is enough. It has always been enough. His love does not grow or shrink based on how you feel. It remains steady like a deep current beneath calm water. There are layers of the heart that only rest can reach. Layers that words cannot touch, that effort cannot heal. God knows those layers well. He formed them. He understands how easily they become burdened, how quietly they carry pain. And tonight, He has been tending to them with care, not by force, but by presence. If your awareness is fading now, that is a gift. Let it go without hesitation. You are not leaving God behind when sleep comes. You are being carried deeper into His care. He does not step away when you can no longer think or feel clearly. He remains, guarding what you cannot. And if you remain awake, resting softly in this stillness, know that this too is holy. God is not disappointed by wakefulness. He is not waiting for you to reach a certain state. He is content to share this quiet with you, to let peace continue its gentle work. There is no fear here, nothing waiting to disturb you. The night is not something to endure. It is something God is using to restore you, to remind your soul that it is safe to be unguarded, safe to be honest, safe to be tired. You have not been overlooked, not once. Even in the moments when you felt invisible, when your pain went unnoticed, when your strength was taken for granted, God saw you. And He sees you now, not with urgency, not with concern, but with deep affection. As rest deepens, let this truth settle quietly into your heart. You do not need to become someone else to be loved. You do not need to feel okay to be held. You do not need to pretend for God to stay close. He has always known you, and He has always chosen you. Let the night continue to hold you gently. Let sleep come when it comes. Let stillness remain if it stays. There is nothing more you need to do, nothing more you need to give. You are already being cared for. God sees you tonight. He understands you completely, and He will remain with you through every remaining hour into the morning and beyond. As the night stretches into its quietest depths, there is a sense now that everything has been gently placed into God's care. Nothing is hovering unfinished. Nothing is pressing for attention. Even the things that once felt heavy have been laid down. Not dramatically, not all at once, but softly, as trust has slowly taken their place. God has been faithful through every moment of this night, and He remains faithful now, when words are fewer and rest is deeper. There is something holy about these hours when the soul no longer tries to understand itself, when even self-reflection gives way to simple being. God is not absent in this simplicity. He is deeply present. He delights in these moments when you are not striving to connect, not reaching for reassurance, but simply resting in the truth that He is near. You may feel now as though the edges of your thoughts have softened completely, as though the need to name what you feel has dissolved. This is not emptiness, it is safety. It is the heart recognizing that it does not need to explain itself to be held. God understands you without translation. He knows the shape of your inner world, even when it is quiet and undefined. There have been times in your life when pretending felt necessary, when being honest felt too risky, too exhausting, or too costly. God has never condemned you for that. He understands survival. He understands protection. He understands the way the heart learns to hide when it has been overwhelmed. And tonight, He is not exposing anything. He is simply offering rest, a rest that does not pry or demand, but gently invites. As sleep continues to deepen, or as peaceful awareness lingers, know that God is not watching over you with concern, but with confidence. Confidence in His care. Confidence in His ability to sustain you. Confidence that you are safe, even when you let go completely. He is not afraid of the dark. He is not threatened by silence. He rules the night with the same authority and gentleness that He rules the day. You do not need to remember this moment for it to matter. You do not need to hold on to these thoughts. They are settling deeper than memory, taking root in places that will quietly strengthen you later. Tomorrow, you may not recall the words, but you may notice a softness in your spirit, a steadiness in your breath, a gentler way of meeting the day. That will be the fruit of this rest. God's love has not been loud tonight. It has been constant. It has been patient. It has been close. And that is often how His love works best. Not by overwhelming the senses, but by reassuring the soul. Not by demanding attention, but by staying. If there is one last truth to rest in before sleep fully claims you, let it be this: you are deeply known and deeply safe. There is no version of you that God rejects, no weakness that sends Him away, no exhaustion that tests His patience. He delights in caring for you, even now, even here, even when you are no longer aware of it. Let the night continue to hold you. Let God continue to keep watch. You do not have to pretend anymore. You are seen. You are loved. You are at rest.